Let me give you guys an idea of our guest speaker today. Let's settle down, get your notepads out, get your journals out. She's a wife, she's a mother, she's a retired educator. She's the first African-American female RVP in the Midwest. She's living on purpose and she's living in purpose. She is a wonderful leader. She's a great friend and she's definitely an amazing person to take notes from and learn from. Without further ado, can we give a warm welcome to the one and only Regional Vice President, Miss Woods.
Good morning, because I know Japan is on this. Good morning there. Oh my goodness. Good evening if you're in some places, where it's nighttime already too. Listen, I was just, before we even start, I was going over and listening to the different leads and the, how many events coming up and who signed who up for what. And I was just thinking to myself, there's no way in the world somebody could say they didn't have the money to go to the international. Like, how? You could get 5 customers and get $200. That's going to take care of your flight potentially. If not, go get 10 customers. Like this business is so incredible to me. I'm like, what in the free world? For you not to have it, they were laughing. And if you don't have it, then you don't get it. So definitely that leadership on Saturday that Mr. Al Thomas is doing, you want to have your face in the place. You want to have your pen, your notebook. What did he say? Your marker, your eyeliner pen. You want to see if you can get over to his house and sit on the floor Indian style to see what he's talking about. Like, just get the energy. My goodness. And then be effective with the energy as well and go be proactive with the energy. So I would love to say that what I'm going to talk to you about is all about me today, but I have a video and I'm going to tell you right now, the video is 8 minutes. And I kept going through like, oh my God, it's got to be a way where I can shrink it. It's got to be a way where I can do this differently. Like, it just has to be a way. But the information was so powerful. There's no way in the world that I could do it any justice without you watching it. And it's crazy because Mr. Al Thomas can contest to this. You can learn from anybody. Prime example, my 6-year-old nephew, he wanted a gift. He wanted a toy, not even a gift. And he said, I want this toy. And I said, you know what? And this is something you guys can use if, this works for you. And Mr. Al Thomas, I know you're going to need to use it. And this is the way you say it without lying. Okay. So he said, Auntie, I would love to get this toy. Oh, please, Auntie. And I said, man, CJ, I don't have it for you. I don't have it. I don't have the money for you to get this toy. Now, I didn't say I didn't have the money. That would have been a lie. I don't have it for you. So it's a difference. I don't have it for you, CJ. I'm so sorry. And so he said, ask my mom to cash app you so I can get this toy. And I'm like, this kid got some resilience. Like, he coming up with ideas. And I was like, I really don't know how to do it. He went in my phone. He said, unlock this. Let me show you something. Went in my phone, went to how to send it to somebody, like that little Cash App bar, and sent it to his mother with what he wanted. I could not believe it. He is 6. These kids know so much stuff. Jackie Black, I didn't even know how to do it. I've never requested money from somebody on no Cash App. So it was so crazy to me to see him do this. So to me, if a 6-year-old can find a way, so can we in our business. And so I want you guys to watch this video, and it's so intentional. Take some great notes, and then right after, I'm going to be laser focused on what is talked about and how we can incorporate this, not into just our business, however, our lives. So let me get the party started.
So I think in the school system, they don't want us to learn about money because they just want to pump out good employees that do what they're told. I mean, if you look at school, it's opposite of what it takes to be successful in real life. Don't make a mistake. Do as you're told. Take tests by yourself, don't cooperate, do it by yourself, do it on your own. And the last thing was, there's only one right answer. No, there's tons of answers to a problem. So you come out of school scared to death of making a mistake. You do everything on your own, you don't cooperate, there's no synergy, there's no brainstorming, and there's only one right answer. Everybody wants to get the right answer. There's no one right answer. So I think people come out of school paralyzed. I think the school system is criminal in that it kills a child's spirit of learning You know, a child goes into school all excited about, yeah, I'm going to learn and it's going to be great. And then the teacher says, sit down and shut up. Don't talk. We don't care what you're interested in. Did anybody in school ever ask you, did a teacher ever ask you, Brian, what are you interested in? I never did. I never did. So they just teach you what they want to teach you instead of finding out what the child is interested in and teaching to that. So I think kids come out of school scared to death of making a mistake. They come out paralyzed. They don't know what they want to do because their spirit and their creativity has been crushed inside of them. So you almost have to do a whole reprogramming once you get out of school so you can find out what it is that excites you, what it is that where your passion is. When Robert and I had our first date back in 1984, he asked me in Hawaii. Okay. He said, "What do you want to do with your life?" I had been fired twice from the same job out of college, twice.
From the same job?
Yep. They fired me and they hired me back and they fired me again. And I knew I wanted my own business. So on our first date, he said, "What do you want to do with your life?" And I said, "I want my own business, but I don't know anything about entrepreneurship. I've never been around entrepreneurs." And Robert said, "Well, I've started several businesses and all of my friends are entrepreneurs." I'm like, "Great, perfect." So 2 months later, I started my first business. But the funniest thought I had coming from an employee was, "Oh, now my time is my time. I'll do it whenever I want. And I'll have all this free time and it's going to be on my schedule." Wrong. No, you work 24/7. I had no free time. And I'm like, okay, so that was a myth I had, but that was my mindset as an employee, that where you work 9 to 5, oh, now I can get up and I can start at 11. And you know, if I want to work at night, I can work at night. No, you're working, especially when you're starting a business, it's 24/7. Entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. It is not, because you're always pushing the envelope, right? And the purpose of an entrepreneur is to solve problems. So every day something happens and you're like, oh, I didn't expect that. And you got to deal with it. And I also say entrepreneurship is the fast track to personal development. Because every day, right, you're facing something right here. It's like, oh man, and you can't back down from it. You gotta deal with it. They say like 50% of businesses fail. And I think what happens for a lot of first-time business owners, they're coming out of a job. So they're coming out of an employee mindset. And I know this one guy, for example, in Phoenix, Arizona, and he decided he was going to start his own business. And he had been an employee all his life. So what's the first thing he does? He goes and rents a nice office space. Then he buys all the nice furniture. Then he gets a secretary. He hasn't made not $1. And he spends all this because he thinks that's what an entrepreneur looks like. Versus, go make the money first, then go rent your office. If you even need an office, start out of your home. We all started, all the entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs I know, all started out of their home. But a lot of people I see, they quit their job, they start their part-time business, and because they're struggling for money, they make bad decisions because they're just trying to find how to put money in their pocket to keep their business alive. So I think if you are an employee, that's a smart way to go. What you just said, to start a part-time business, start learning what it takes, the reality. You got to get the reality of what it takes. And I came across a study, and it was a study of centenarians, people that had lived over 100, and they wanted to find what were the common denominators, and they found 3. And one was they had a sense of purpose. It didn't matter how big or small, but they had a sense of purpose. Number 2, they were optimistic. And number 3 was resiliency, how well you come back from a setback. When you hit that wall, do you fall down? Do you get up? Do you go through it? And I'm like, those seem like the three characteristics of a good entrepreneur to me. Sense of purpose, optimistic, and resilient. Yeah. If you're not resilient and you can't persevere, do not become an entrepreneur. They're so afraid to venture out on their own and not have the security of that paycheck. You know, a lot of times we say if you have a full-time job, keep your full-time job, start a part-time business, and work it and work it and work it. Look at what you do in your spare time, and people go, "I have no spare time." Well, yes, you do. If you broke it out, how much are you watching TV? How much are you on your iPhone, playing video games, doing things that really are not important? And take that time and channel it into the business that you want to create. And we just launched a product on finding out what's most meaningful to you. Because once you can discover what's most meaningful, then decisions and and life becomes so much easier because there's more joy, there's more better communication with relationships. But they don't teach any of this in school. They just say, sit down, do as you're told, take the test by yourself, and don't make a mistake. And so I think a lot of people, they don't want to be uncomfortable. They don't want to get out of their comfort zone. And the only way we grow and learn is by stretching ourselves and getting out of our comfort zone, even by a little bit. You know, Emerson said, this is not the exact quote, but something to the effect of, if you're not facing something you fear every day, you don't understand the secret of life. Because that's where growth and transformation happens.
Yeah.
So, and I hate making mistakes just like everybody else. I hate failing, but that's where we learn the most. If we can take the lesson of the failure and take the lesson of the mistake and learn from it, then we get much smarter. And it's not about do what you love and the money will follow. It's not that. It's do what you love. Where's the problem you're solving? Where can you be a contribution? Then you work your butt off, and then the money will come.
Amen. I can agree with that.
But I like thinking of making a contribution versus just selling a product.
Right.
And I'll say one other thing. A lot of people say, I really want to make a difference in the world, and I think my product or my service is going to make that difference. But they're not willing to charge money for it or really turn it into a business. If you've got a product or service and you really feel it's going to help people and help the masses, then you have a responsibility to make your business successful so that people hear about you and to get it out to the world.
Was that not amazing? She said a couple of key things. And what stuck out to me the most is what she said at the end. You have a responsibility. Just think about when, and it's so crazy because I'm going off the cusp right now, Mr. Thomas passing out the pens at the International. And that's how he was peaked in the beginning, reading a big old pen. You want to learn how you can fly free. Who wouldn't want to know? You have a responsibility and you are your brand. You are. So I'm going to go over a couple of things and they're just some slides in their pictures. But we're going to talk, about what it is that we need to do. And it's going to be so short, so simple, because what she just shared was really, really enough. I promise you. So look at this here. You got to have a sense of purpose. I know she's looking up in the sky. You may be thinking, what in the free world is she even looking at? And I was reading the caption for this, and it was saying she was pondering on her life. What's your sense of purpose? What's most meaningful to you? I have to think about, the fact that when I got started in this business, the reason why I got started in the business in the beginning has changed since I've gotten started in the business. It should, as you evolve and you grow and you become, I have watched this video and I can't take any credit for it. We have a regional coordinator on our team, Miss Cassandra Davis. She put this in one of our groups and I was so obsessed with it. I think I watched it in 2 days, maybe 50 times. And I just kept stop, pause, taking notes, stop, pause, taking notes, because I was so intrigued by the fact that as an educator, I know we only teach children how to take tests. When she asked, has anybody ever asked you, what did you want to be, or what was your sense of purpose? What did you want to become? And I was watching this yesterday as I was preparing again. And my husband, he's so analytical, bless his heart. I love it about him though. He said, well, then that means you would have to come up with about 32 lesson plans. And I was like, you're taking it literally. I said, if you know what a child wants, you can tailor to that child. That doesn't mean 32 different lesson plans. That means incorporate what these children want into their lesson plan. That's it. But we've been so conditioned, to go to school, go to college, get a good job, go to the workforce. If you don't, go to the military. And we're told that these are the things that you need to do in order to be successful, that we live in this polarized box. So then when we do step out and become entrepreneurs, when we do step out and start our ACN business, then it's like, that employee mindset. We don't really know how to do what, say, whatever the case may be. And you have to be reprogrammed. You have to learn. You have to listen to your mentor or mentors and trust what they're saying. And then that's like a thing too. How do you trust somebody when you've been taught all your life not to trust anybody? How do you brainstorm and come up with ideas and learn that, like they said in the chat, I can't remember who said it. I think it was Roxanne, teamwork makes the dream work. How do you do that when you've been taught all your life to do everything by yourself? So we got to figure out, what is our true sense of purpose? What wakes you up in the morning? I don't care if you do ACN. I don't care if you do Mary Kay. I don't care if you got a food truck. I don't care if you make candy. I don't care if you make candles. I don't care if you do t-shirts. It doesn't matter what it is. I don't care if you got a traditional brick and mortar business. What makes you get up and go after what you need to in your business? Because if you don't get or grasp that, everything else is shot in the dark. I remember when I first got started, somebody said to me, if your why doesn't make you cry, it's not big enough. And I believe that's true 85%. Some people are truly, truly passionate about money. My husband is one of those people. He was the kid who grew up with nothing. And, you know, I used to think that he was being overly dramatic when he would tell me that he started working at 5. A family member would drop them off at what's called the West Side Market here in Cleveland. Lord, you know, there should be some human trafficking going on back there. I don't know. Drop them off at the West Side Market when it opened, and he would take people's bags to their car and so forth and so on. And then when he became 7, he would go to this supermarket called Heinen's and take people's bags, and he would get tips sometimes, whatever the case may be. But what was his sense of purpose? They didn't have any money. None. So that was a driving factor to him. When I started in my ACM business, I wanted to be a more present parent. I wanted to be a more present wife. I was none of the above. But I knew how to be a great employee, and I was so afraid of getting fired because I didn't like my boss and she didn't like me. I just had to make some things happen. But that wasn't my purpose, just to make things happen. Educating children, yes, still is, absolutely. And you don't have to be an educator to do that. Educating people while I'm on this call right now is a part of that. That's my sense of purpose. So it doesn't matter, you know, if it's money that motivates you. And some of you, it may. That was my husband, still is. He has an account, and I promise you, if it goes over a certain, if it goes under a certain couple of thousand, that account for him is real. He panics like the world is ending. And he, I gotta do. And I'm like, do you see how much is in there? Like, it's crazy to me. But that's his sense of purpose. That's his way of feeling like he's protecting his family and doing so forth. And if he's gone, then what's your sense of purpose? What does that mean for you? Figure it out. Go talk to somebody. Take a moment and just sit and just start writing. Sometimes I'll just write and I'll look at it. None of it is all the same, but it still makes sense. Find out what motivates you. And you're going to have to be optimistic too. Things are going to go wrong in our business. Things are going to go wrong in relationships. Things are going to go wrong. You're going to get a business partner. You're going to be so amped. Oh my goodness, I haven't had a business partner in 2 months. You get a new business partner, and then they are one service away from being qualified, and you can't find them in the daytime with a flashlight. Things happen. And then all of a sudden, you make a post about, you know, the Baltimore Elevate event, and somebody who's been watching your business or watching you online or so forth, they reach out to you. Mr. Thomas said it. If you want to make it to the Orlando event, have an event. If you want to make it to the Orlando event, get some customers. But I'm going to tell you too, while being optimistic, put a game plan in place. You have to learn how to still live and support your business. So when you get that $200 for the 5 customers or whatever it is, you get that ETO bonus for those of you who are getting ready to knock that out, who just got started. You still have to take some of that money and invest it in your business. Sometimes it's going to be all of it and invest it in your business. while you build. But if you keep the right frame of mind, if you know your sense of purpose, if you're continually optimistic, that doesn't mean things won't happen and you won't want to call your upline and say bad words. I get it. I call mine for sure. He's on here. I call mine. And here's a little secret for those of you who want to build a successful ACN business. Anything that is amazing that is happening, anything optimistic, anything that is over the top, you want to tell everybody, but make sure your downline knows. If you got that one rep who's one customer away from being qualified, if you're having a bad day, if you feel like you just don't want to do it today, tell your upline only. If you share negativity with your downline, your business will be destroyed. The edification will run right out the window. I learned it. I'm not talking about something that somebody told me and I'm just like, oh my God, I believe you. I learned it. I had to rebuild from it. So good down, bad up. There you go. Okay, now that we got this out the way with understanding your purpose and being optimistic, she talked about resilience. You have to have strength, and strength is in numbers. That was my optimistic for you guys. That was the light bulb. I'm talking and I forget these slides are even popping up here. So we talked about being optimistic. You got to have resilience. You got to have strength. You know, ACN's bird is the eagle. You got to have strength and you got to have it in numbers. That's why, you know, when Kim Kiyosaki was talking about, you know, brainstorming and doing everything, you know, together. And like we say, the teamwork makes the dream work, but we're taught that we're supposed to do it by ourselves. We're taught that there's only one right answer when there's thousands of right answers to a situation or a problem. You still want to have that resilience. You want to have that strength and that strength in numbers, and you want to be able to make sure you have wise counsel. You know, we talk about it all the time. So for me, when I have people who join my team and they like, oh yeah, when I do this and that, and I get to this position, I'm quitting my job. If you've ever heard me do a presentation, I talk about regional coordinator and how that's a cornerstone to a decision position called regional director. And then you'll hear me say this: when built properly, write that down, regional director, when built properly, you have choices. If you love what you do, keep doing it. If you don't, let's figure out what we want to do. You know, this is that just in case the pandemic or anything else happens again, you're not told how to move and shake with your money. That's what I say every single time. I do not promote for people to quit their job. You heard Kim Kiyosaki. She said, keep your job and do your part-time business. ACN is a part-time business until it takes over your full-time business and you can do it full-time. Now, if any of you know, I did ACN twice. This is my second go-round. Praise God, this is my second go-round. My first go-round, okay, Mr. Al Thomas, I'm so glad I can't see your face. So listen, when I hit executive team leader, I was encouraged to quit my job and go full-time. I did it. And for like 3 months, it was running strong. I was like, oh my God, this is it. I got all these people coming in. And then that 4th, 5th, 6th month, and you know, the cabs wasn't coming in the same way, so forth and so on. It changed. It got different. It got real. And I learned from that. I was no longer enjoying our business because I was too busy trying to hustle and get. And then I started to recreate, no longer following a system. It was madness. So I tell people all the time, don't quit your business. Why quit an income that can help you build your part-time business? Be able to find, you know, a way to manage your time. That's really what this is about, that resilience and strength. You know, this opportunity, we honestly, you guys, we have to be about our Father's business. And that's really first and foremost. We have to be about our Father's business. This opportunity did not just drop in your lap by happen chance. That button that you put on where people are going to ask you questions, it will not be by happen chance. Everything is already aligned and designed. The Lord knows that you're going to bump your head 5 times on this certain situation until you decide to get it right. That's okay. However, once you get it, you just need to get it, and then you need to teach it to other people so they don't have to go through what you had to go through. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's okay. Mr. Al Thomas has seen it all. I've seen most. but we got to be about being a servant. There's not one single solitary person on the face of this planet that does not use what we offer. They may not use everything, but they use at least one thing that we offer. Children have cell phones, and even if they don't pay the bill, they still can flip on a light. Our business is holistic to everyone's lifestyle. So you got to have resilience. You got to have a belief that nobody can knock down, even with the no. Even with the no, even with the, I think I'm gonna be able to make it tonight, and then nobody shows up. If that's knocking you out, why you do this business and what wakes you up in the morning and what gets you started every day is not big enough. It just isn't. If it's just you, it's not enough. So what you got to do is look yourself in the mirror. Ask yourself, when do I really want to start being a beast in my business? When am I really going to start paying attention and focusing? When am I going to get on that Saturday training and figure out how to make this happen? I mean, really start and be serious. Because if you commit to really starting and being serious, numbers will show up. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be tomorrow. It could. You get on that presentation tonight and find out how to close somebody right then and there. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. They got to think about it, see it again, so forth, so on. Some people are like, man, this just makes so much sense, I'm in. But if you start and if you're serious, numbers will start to show. And I'm saying that because my personal mentor who introduced me to this business, Mr. Stephen Payton II, he said to me, he asked me, you seem like you're a little tired. A little off focus. He said, but you do still seem to remember certain stuff because you'll text me this and that, so forth and so on. And he said, look, I know you may have a lot going on and I know you're doing some of the things. He was like, and I got your back. I'm going to be here, especially when you're serious. So remember how I said, I don't have it for you? That was his way saying that I don't have it for you. I got your back, but I'm going to be here when you're serious. Like, I got you, whatever you need, I got you, but I can't play with you if you're not serious. I'm gonna love you all the way through. That's who he is. That's what he does. Mr. Al Thomas will love you all the way through, but we looking for anchored down, top notch, ready and willing to learn people who are serious about this business. So for me, I don't want something to happen to us, to understand that it's now time to make a difference. Just make the difference. Be the change that people want to see in this business. It really is that simple. It's not deep at all to turn things around, especially when you have everything that is needed already to win in this business. You have an opportunity, you have services, you got a mouthpiece, and if you caught Mr. Al Thomas, you got a pen. Is that not right? I see Deborah over there. I keep finding her for some reason. Deborah and that palm tree in the background is working my spirit. Every time I said, I see you smiling. That's it. That's it. Sam Foster gets it. Listen, Maria gets it. Sensational. I already know she got it. It's everybody on this line gets it. Let me tell you why I know you get it. You wouldn't be on here. Nobody jumps on here from Japan at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Who don't get it? So now it's about applying what you've gotten and stop taking the leadership for granted. And I'm not saying that you do. Because Mr. Thomas can say, man, you know what? What did they say to you? You already got the money. Of course you can. And he can say, you absolutely daggone do. I don't need to do this. And shut it down. Man, but you know what I would love to see? I would love to see those of you do this call. There's how many people on here? 60 people outside of myself right now doing this call. 59, 58. I just saw Dr. Nelson pop on Mr. Payton and, Al Thomas. There's so many of you who've already been on here and who've done it. But it's okay for me to spend 30 minutes with you to show you how to make a difference in your life. But you honestly don't really need it. You already have everything that it takes. It's just about applying it. It's about being about your Father's business while you're on this earth. And this opportunity is about being in your Father's business, about your Father's business, period. And then you can take what ACN has given you. You can take what life has given you, and you can do other things with it. I'm going to be transparent, this transparent time. Do you think I'm going to do ACN only for the rest of my life? No, there's things that I want to do, and I allow this opportunity to create other opportunities for me. Tow truck company in Atlanta, construction company here, getting ready to open up a spa. There's things that I still want to do. There's investments that still need to be made. And the great thing is whether my daughter ever decides to do this business, because the services that we have every single day that we use and have to pay for every single month, she's still going to benefit from it. She is, and her children will as well. So that's it. Just be about your business, in this business, and in your life. Be proactive, you guys. You don't have to have somebody always encouraging you. You should know how to encourage yourself at this time. 1000%. 1000%. So on that note, we're going to stop living in temporary insanity, and we're going to be on purpose permanently. Mr. Thomas, I appreciate you every time you ask for me to be able to get on here and share it. I love the fact that you have a team that's open and willing to follow and grow. And that's what you all need to keep doing. And if you do what's required, I'm telling you, the numbers that will come into Orlando will be audacious. This team right here should lead the pack. There should be some regional coordinators getting another pen, getting your pen on this side and wearing your 30-year on this one. There should be some regional directors popping come Orlando. I know there's at least 2 regional vice presidents. I'm not going to call you out. I don't know. I really want to. I'm not going to do it. There's at least 2 regional vice presidents that can pop by Orlando. And guess what? I don't know your numbers, but I know you can do it. That's it. That's all. I'm done.